Hello? Am I being bamboozled by YouTube? Oh my fucking god. Alright. I was being bamboozled by YouTube. Got it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I answered Quip's question and I had no feedback whatsoever. I was like, what? But no, it's just YouTube, or I guess OBS, being fucky with me. Can I use a local file? Nope. It's working now, thank God. Thank God. I'm trying to find a way to put y'all on the screen. It is not working. It is not working. So I think we're just gonna have to be live chatless for a minute. Anyway, hi Dante, hi Random, hi Failure, hi Quibs. How the fuck are we all doing? I saw Harsh was in the comments before as well, so I'll say hi to him as well. But I've not seen him commented in a minute. But to answer your question, Quibs, we had to end the stream a little bit early because we had lost Blizzard. And I was, just not here for that after a minute. So I kind of just detached myself from everything for like a fat minute. What have you done to annoy the OBS gods? This is my first time streaming on OBS. I was like, I'll fuck off Streamlabs. Not completely, but like, I'm just experimenting. I know because of the new UK law, old men for real trying to save the rain. They'll die. They'll die someday. It just won't be soon, fortunately. Unfortunately, even. Music good, by the way. Bit too quiet. Not quiet enough. Also, mental reminder. It says stop stream, go live. Click go live. Because stream was set up. Everything was set up, but nothing was live. So I gotta remind myself of that next time. Every day he lives in a day the world gets worse. Mine? Yeah. Yeah, no, because of that happening on stream. Yes, not yesterday, the day before. I was like, I'ma just not touch social media. I was barely on TikTok. I had basically shit posting YouTube on. So, yeah. OBS is slightly weird in my experience. I just press buttons and hope it works. Well, it's an open source engine, so learning how to use it is the light of it. Yeah, no, I spent basically all day yesterday and the first half of my day today playing Blasphemous 2. Because I never beat Blasphemous 2, I only got past like the first couple of bosses and got all the weapons before the new expansion that came out like a week ago or something. So I was like, you know what? Hell fucking yeah, let's play some Blasphemous 2. And honestly, fun game. It's still not better than the first, but it's still fun. Oh my god, never mind. I know I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and I know how I'm fucking it up. I know why y'all are not appearing on live anymore. I need to go. Yes. Then I go to... Then I delete these. I open you. I then put you in. And shit should just be working. Excuse me as I type. Way! I got chat working. I got chat working. Woohoo! Now I just need to do that over here. Now I just need to do that over here. Doop. Bingus. Fuck. A little bit more. And now I should be able to just hop off this. Bring you guys back up here. No, sorry, random. I was just typing out random stuff. Okay. Which means I can put YouTube chat back where it's supposed to be, next to YouTube's live control room. And we can just get straight to it, supposedly. And, yeah. Yes, it's working. I believe this was the chapter we were on. 1 minute. I'm gonna do this instead, because that is so fucking loud where I can hear it. Alright, so what happened last stream? Klein got his seer powers. We learned a couple of more, sequences. We learned about the 4 different parts of spirituality. This would be better if I had my notes up. Not bad. Those are my passwords. I don't. Nope. I want World of Mysteries open. There we go. Yeah, we learned about the 4 different, like, spiritual shit that was, going on when it comes to, like, different levels of understanding mysticism and everything. That includes Klein doing, tapping the bridge of his face twice. Spirituality has 4 different parts. Damn, I must have forgotten. Yeah. What was it? It's the soul body, the outer body. I can't remember the 3rd one, because the 3rd one is fucking weird. And then there's the Aether body? Why am I thinking? I've got notes. I definitely wrote all this down. So in mysticism, the soul can be split into 4 different building parts. The soul body, the outer body, which is the actual astral projection. Some spells can be casted through astral projection. Then there's the soul, mind, and heart, which is the ability to perceive the shit in the universe. That is to perceive shit that the universe is hiding from you. And then there's the ether body, which is the part of the colors that you actually see. Right. Klein moved into his new house with Ben and Melissa. I think that's her name. I have forgotten, probably. And now we just got done talking. We didn't get done talking to Aubrey and Olga. We were just in a meeting with them. Yeah, we were just in a meeting with them. Which, in tow, kind of led me down a spiral. And I think this is where we ended up having to stop. Because of, obvious things. Obvious things, unfortunately, outside of my control. So, we're here now. And, we should begin, right? She got the Handman, the blood, Ghost Shark blood, and now he's gonna tell her how to actually become a Beyonder. The one time the Fool speaks, the Handman acts out of character and is when presenting with new information, so he's making people collect Roselle's pages, because he's the only one who can read them, because it simplifies Chinese, because honestly, that's still really fucking funny. Klein thinks the Emperor is nothing less than a fool. It's so goddamn funny, I can't help but to laugh at it, to be honest. That's a solid question. Where were they meant to me to give Klein the information? Oh, I think that's a little bit into this chapter. Or the next one? Above the grey fog, sort of majestic divine hall that stood at... Yeah. I think I've read most of this. Yes, because we learned about digesting and acting. Yes. I am remembering. My brain is working. And the Handman's a little bit of a simp for Klein, which is still really funny. Then it would have been exchanging information, which is 36, I believe. So yes. Before that, let's do some good luck. Kitten time. Look how much they've grown. Snowman's still very vocal. And still has a lot of controversial political opinions. We should put him down. Oh boy. Saying a bit too much there, boy. Anyway, in exchange of information. Roselle Gustav's secret diary. Emperor Roselle. Indeed, only such matters are worthy the concern of the mighty figure Mr. Fool. Aubrey was first taken aback before she realized that she found it nothing surprising. Rumor had it that Emperor Roselle had once seen the blasphemy state. It was said that the secret cards he created hid the 22 paths of divinity. This was something every high sequence Beyonder would definitely pay attention to. Diary? That's a diary? Olga frowned slightly as he nearly noticed this tidbit. The item which Roselle Gustave had left behind had been described by Mr. Fool as a diary. How did he know? How did he determine it? He could know of a way to decipher Roselle's cryptic text? Faced with the Handman's question and having an obtained desired effect, Klein leaned back into his chair and interlocked his hands. He entered in a relaxed manner. Let us first view it as a diary for now. Oh yeah, that reminds me, Ripkin. Give him a Stella immediately. Oh, like, if I give him a Stella, he's gonna run for office. I can't let the little fucker start doing that now, can I? He did not deny or confirm it. Aubrey had heard the children of the nobles mention the matter whenever she had never... Oh my god. However, she had never really learned much about it. With her curiosity piqued, she asked, It said that Emperor Rosel's diary was written in a cryptic language or symbols he invented. Yes, answered Olga simply. Some people believe that it is a unique set of symbols from mysticism. Others believe that it's hieroglyphic. But up to today, no one has found the correct way to decipher it. At the very least, that's all I know. With that said, he turned his head to Klein in a bid to get some confirmation or to show his suspicions. They are texts that have been passed down for generations, so they are no longer in their original state. According to your line of thought, how could it be deciphered? Klein maintained his calm and secret. Klein maintained his calm as he secretly gave a self-deprecating laugh. How could as for how to handle the symbols of mysticism, he instantly thought of a ridiculous and funny scene. Can't get any worse right now. I don't know. It certainly can. We have two active Nazi-esque parties in the United Kingdom trying to overthrow this center-right politician. That would be far worse. And frankly, I wouldn't put it past a child to fall for that. Dressed in the black pointed hat and a long robe, an evil mage pulls up his sleeves and reveals symbol tattoos on his arm. It is said that the symbols with mysterious powers left behind by the Emperor Rosel. They were written in two blue, large, simplified Chinese characters. Retarded joker. And a corner of Klein's mouth curled up slowly as he found himself in a good mood. After hearing the handman's description, Ombre said in a stumped manner, We can't understand the symbols for the words. Then how do we pass the information to you, Mr. Fool? Or do we mail it to somewhere? This is an important question. I do not have the means to accept an item secretly. Klein was in no hurry to answer. He repeatedly released his thumbs from the interlocked hands before tapping them again. Soon, he thought of a solution. Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Never put it past the far right to think of a truly excellent way to fuck up everybody's week. Since I can create a divine palace and table where, according to my wishes, could it be possible to project the context in the minds to others too here? I'll give it a try. At that moment, Ombre and Olga saw Mr. Fool slowly sit up amidst the greyish fog. Miss Justice, let's give it a try. Imagine a paragraph of text and give it to the emotions of writing it with urgency. Yes, pick up the fountain pen beside you and write it on a piece of paper. Before Klein finished the sentence, Ombre picked up the piece of yellowish-brown goatskin, goatskin parchment, and a dark red fountain pen in front of her. She picked up the fountain pen both curiously and doubtful. In accordance to the instructions, she imagined the poem Emperor Rosel once wrote. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? After scrutinizing the text, she picked up the fountain pen and imbued them with the desire to project them out. Klein sensed the emotions, and using the fountain pen as the medium, he guided her. The moment Andre landed her fountain pen, she saw a line appear on the goatskin parchment. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Goodness, how fascinating! Ombre exclaimed in astonishment while being rueful. Following that, she looked at Klein with some fear. Mr. Fool, can you read what I'm thinking? No, I am only guiding you. I simplified the process of writing for you and made it become an imprint. If you do not wish to express it, nothing will appear. Klein placed her with a low tone. IDK. What's going on, you lot? Not much. We're just finishing off what happened on last stream. Or what should have been happening on last stream. You good? You good there, girl? Are you good there, girl? What about you? You good there, lad? Are you good there? Rah. Is that so? Then we need to memorize the symbols in a way the cryptic text looks and presents it directly as we wish. Ombre Aubrey heaved a sigh of relief as she asked in enlightenment. Yes, Klein asked. That's not a bad method, Miss Justice. Do not doubt your memory. After becoming a Spectre, you will receive immense improvements in this aspect. Olga had watched the attempt from the side, fully coming to the realization that Mr. Fool was far more powerful and mysterious than he had imagined. As for his memory, he believed the next advancements would improve it sufficiently. Regarding this, Andre nodded in delight. You have delighted me with this reminder, Mr. Hanged Man. Do you know of any other guidance on specters? With that said, she looked towards the seat of honor. Mr. Fool, I will work hard to complete your mission. I will do my best to gather more of Emperor Rosel's secret diary. I mentioned it before, but I mentioned before that a person who likes a fair and equal exchange. The advance payments I gave you is only equivalent to about 2 pages of the diary for each person. If there are more, I will give addition in return. Klein said calmly. He said, like he was an adult who did not take advantage of children. I might study Buddhism and Taoism. My friend says I have gained insight from them. I mean, Taoism's interesting. I think the only place I have ever seen Taoism actually be done, I guess, correctly in how it's methodolized is Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise, those are the only place where I've seen it done, and it's like, ooh, okay, that's pretty good. I say that. A lot of Naruto takes from Buddhism and Taoism. Just not as much. Same with JJK, but JJK is a lot more Buddhism than Tao. Both are interesting, though. I've only learned it for power scaling reasons, so I can't lie. Those are the only reasons I've ever learned it. Klein isn't... These gatherings are just Klein aura farming, and I love it. Oh yeah, I love it. I also love the fact he doesn't actively abuse that power. RROC is hella... Oh! If you fall down my bed once again, I will throw you in the cave. Because you can't get out unlike the other two. Fat fuck. Oh, what is it? A regressors... It's the regressor cultivation one that y'all keep recommending me. Right? Right? I am thinking of the right one. I think so. But I believe that. I believe that, and especially Buddhism. Whoa, I almost removed Kirbs as a moderator by accident. Sorry, lad. Anyway. As for where the additional payment would come from, it would naturally from the newly acquired Emperor Rosel's diary pages. This formed a vicious cycle. You're truly a generous gentleman. Alga fell silent for a few seconds before bowing slightly with his hand on his chest. After the bow, he turned to Justice and said, "Let me empathize once more. The Spectre will forever be a Spectre. I know that my Spectres enjoy imagining themselves to be the protagonist or some other character. As a result, they invest a lot of a feeling into it, to the point of crying, laughing, raging, turning sorrowful because of the drama. However, that is not what a Spectre should do. While faced with various dramas of society and figures who knowingly or unknowingly act in the role of particular characters, you have to maintain the attitude of being the absolute bystander. Only then can you calmly and objectively observe them. You will discover their habits, their tics from lying, from the or their sense of nervousness. From those minute clues, you can grasp their true thoughts." Oh! Well, that's interesting now, isn't it? Hmm? Every time I mention what is it, a regretter's cultivation, RTOC, he gets closer to slamming me out. Yes, you are. You are correct. SSS suicide and all that for ROC. Where's my good man? Oh fuck it, I'll use my Dragon Ball. Spectre. That would make Spectres essentially walking lie detectors and fuck, what they called in Castlevania. Seekers, right? People who tend to just gather a lot of information, whether it be about a person, about a religion. They're basically just walking libraries. That's interesting. That's actually incredibly interesting. Dare I say. Interesting opinion, Josh. Thank you. I mean, from the way he's describing it, it's how it sounds. It's how it sounds. I like how this is slowly becoming the Lord of the Mysteries, like, power system guide for me. I'm like, oh, so that's how it's meant to work. Believe me, everyone is different because of their emotions. They will secrete different things and different smells. However, only a real specter can sniff them out. Oh, so the like a walking lie detector dog-ish thing. Once you get invested in too many of your own emotions, your observation will be influenced. Your sensitivity towards the emotions of others will deviate. Andre listened attentively as her eyes brightened gradually. It sounds really, really interesting. Klein's heart stared as he heard that. The Spectre's potion required. The Spectre's potion requirement, then summarized, seemed to be the absolute objective and neutral Spectre. Yeah. Is the equivalent to act. I didn't fucking. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it out loud. God damn it. Why is this acting which Emperor Roselle was referring to? Then, will I have to act as a seer and therefore digest the potion bit by bit? Just as Klein was immersing himself in thought, Olga finished explaining the demands he knew of the Spectre. He sighed before saying, "It seems like there's nothing else. Perhaps we can have a casual chat. We talk about things happening all around us. Perhaps it's something very normal to you, but in the ears of others, it might be a very important clue." Sure, Klein snapped back and nodded silently. He was already planning to attempt to act as a seer. After all, it did not seem that there were any negative effects from doing so. Then, shall we begin with you, Mr. Hanged Man? Omri agreed in excitement. Olga thought for a moment in saying, "The infamous pirate who calls himself Admiral Ludwell has begun his voyage and explored the eastern end of Sonia Sea again." "Oh, the owner of the Black Tulip?" Returned Andre with a question who has had some thought. Something tells me I'm gonna have to write that fucking name down. That's not... Oh, clients are here already? Yes. Yes. Which is how we learn about, like, the different parts of the soul and shit. What was the man's name? Admiral Ludwell. Admiral Ludwell. This is the chat. This is just the chat of Justice and Hangman after that. Yeah, sounds about right. Yes, Klein replied with a nod. I don't even know who that is. Klein listened silently when he pondered over the news he planned on sharing. It had to be something that did not expose him while he was allowing to gain feedback. Soon he decided he maintained his unfathomable image as a fool and caressed the side of the bronze table with his fingers. Stop that. According to what I know, the secret organization has lost the Antigus family notebook. This news was not only known by the Nighthawks from the Tingan City, the secret order, as well as the Beyonders, with close ties to them, similarly knew. An Antigus family notebook? Olga repeated before smiling with a snake. Oh, with a shake on his head. Fucking hell, dyslexia kicked in like a bitch there. Hi, Pancake. I wish I could read this. Shadowslave and Reverend Insanity again for the first time. I don't really have that feeling for a lot of books. Or a lot of stories. I think the only story that I actually have that with is probably ALT. Because I really do think the massive time gaps and the monthly manga bit probably like ruin my perspective of the story heavily. But to be fair, I've not watched or read it since it finished, so I probably just need to rewatch it and read it for me to really get back into the mood of it. I'm curious as to what the reaction of the Church of the Evernight will have had to learn of it. Why would he mention the Church of the Evernight? Klein acutely sensed the problem. But if it's not appropriate for him to ask, that would shatter his image as the mysterious and profound fool. At that moment, Ombre asked out of curiosity, "Why are you curious? What sort of special reaction would the Goddess Church have?" Olga smiled and said, "The Antigus family was destroyed by the Church of the Evernight." Oh, shit! Oh, okay. I would kill to read Lord of the Mysteries with no knowledge of the series. That shit would be peak. That's fascinating. Huh. I'm not really sure if it happened at the end of the fourth epoch or the early stages of the present epoch. This, Klein's pupils constricted as a chill suddenly swept through him. From the looks of it, the value the Nighthawks have placed on the Antigus notebook far exceeded my imagination. The reason why they nominated me as a Beyonder, having some contribution and oh my god, and to prevent dangers to me are likely negligible reasons. It is that they wish for me to raise my spiritual sensitivity to aid them in finding the notebook. This was not kept from me by the captain. He mentioned it, but he did not pay much attention to it. After hearing the Hammerman's explanation, Ombre said with a deep interest, "I would never imagine such a thing to happen." Alright, my turn. Let me think of what I need to share. I feel like that's already a big fuck off, like, boom. Like, I guess for Klein specifically, that's like a huge goddamn bomb. Hi, Harsh. I'll just lie then. Gaslighting. Oh, like he was last stream. Just gaslighting me with information. But god damn, that is interesting. That really makes Klein's relationship with Dunn and the church a bit more complicated then. Huh. Why would the church destroy the family? Fascinating. Fascinating. She cocked her head and held her head up with her hands before chuckling. Move! Yesterday, my etiquette teacher taught me how to faint, and how to faint elegantly without any fraud pass. It's a particular skill used at social events to avoid awkward situations or nasty guys. I'm just organizing my thoughts. What I really wanted to say is, ever since the failure of the Battle of Bam's estate shore, the king, premier, and the gentlemen under the immense stress, they eagerly wish to change. Oh, the king, I guess they lost that fucking battle then. 1 minute. Helios just be moving shit. Helios just be, like, in the fucking box. This is some weird music. This is music that, Itzy recommended me ages ago. Same with, one of his viewers. So I just put it on for the background for the atmosphere of it all. Anyway. Simple question. While Aubrey recalled the conversation between her father and the elder brother about the situation, she put it in her own words. They believe that the government structure is too chaotic. Every election, if there is a change in the ruling party, there will be a change of personnel from top to bottom. It makes things a mess and lowers efficiently tremendously. Not only does it cause battle losses, it also brings great inconveniences to civilians. Klein knew very well that there was no example to reference. The Leon Kingdom had yet to evolve a system that explained public servants. The political situation was still in its preliminary stages. Fucking Christ. Therefore, after every election victory, many so-called positions will be awarded to members and supporters. Emperor Roselle not establishing such an institution in it does not match his personality. Could it be that he diverted his focus to other things later in life? What about fucking Klein getting empregged? At this point, I just believe it. Blood of Mysteries, I've got nothing else to fucking... nothing else to suspect from it. When the handman Olga heard that he had interjected with a soft chuckle. They believe? Then their beliefs are a little slow. Perhaps they only feel the itch a year when they get bitten by black mosquitoes. Black mosquitoes were a type of creature that resided in the south of the Leon Kingdom. It is an extremely venomous, and its venom made victims have the urge to rip apart their skin. Lovely! Love that. Ombre extended her palm and covered her mouth, ignoring her handman's mockery. She expressed the core information of what she had said. Unfortunately, they are temporarily unable to find a good solution to replace the system. Harsh, do you need to take your meds? It's that or he's gonna find a crackhead way to think of something weird. It's gonna be one or the other failure, let's be honest. Klein listened carefully and felt the topic was in the domain of his expertise. He smiled faintly and said, "This is a simple problem." The Foodaholic Empire and the decaying countries that studied the Foodaholic Empire had a very advanced experiences of success. Simple? Ombre returned with a question and puzzlement. Although her education did not include politics, she often heard the discussions of her father, brother, and people around her. She had a sufficient understanding of familiar matters. Klein felt as though he had to return the message boards of the yesteryear. Composed, he said, an examination, just like the entrance examinations for college. Hold an exam that is open to the public. It can split into 2 rounds or 3 rounds. Use the most objective methods to select the elite. Ooh, that's an okay way to do it, I guess. But Ombre knew the sort of Ombre knew that this sort of objection this would entail. Before she had the chance to arrange her thoughts, Klein continued. After which, use these elites to fill the positions in the cabinet, the country government, the city government, the various sounds. Yes, the positions that are directly handling matters, such as the secretary of the cabinet. Different positions should be given different requirements. The second or third rounds can be tested based on the locale and region. The professional matters should be left up to the professionals. As for the political positions, such as ministers, governors, or mayors, they should be left to parties that win the election. That is the slice of pie they deserve. I mean, yeah. The funniest thing is that Mpreg and the title, Dogs, is completely possible within the power system. Some dude can just call himself that and the mysticism would acknowledge it. You know, the more I learn and understand about this series, the more it slowly and surely concerns me greatly. Ombre, who lacks interest in such matters, unknowingly turned her head and listened carefully. Ombre frowned slightly as she fell into deep thought. There is no hurry in replacing everyone at once. The cabinet and various agencies in the civil service will be crippled if that happens. You can have exemplarations. You can have exemplarations every year or every 3 years. They can be gradually replaced. Finally, in the light of the kingdom's expansion and the serialized civil servants registrations that will bring in vacancies, you can systematically allot spots. Klein fully expressed his talents as a keyboard politician. He then faced his palm outwardly and said, "Such a design can bring a kingdom insightful elites to the government, regardless of the party in power and who the minister is. The civil service will allow the kingdom to maintain its basics and effective operations." Of course, the side effects was the birth of the undying devil that was bureaucracy. Amen. Amen. While considering the suggestion, Ombre asked doubtfully, "Are you implying that that even though those ministers became curly-haired baboons, the effect would be insignificant?" "No," Olga interjected suddenly. "I believe that baboons are a better choice than the present ministers." He paused before adding, "After all, baboons only need to eat, sleep, and mate. They can come up with foolish ideas and insist on brainless projects. The handman, it sounds like you have quite a terrible superior." Klein sat at his seat of honor and shook his head in silent amusement. Ombre, Ombre at the very start of Volume 1. I wasn't really attached to anyone yet. Honestly, no, that's a very fair point. You don't really get hooked onto a single character in this story so far. I guess Benson, but like Benson's got a very likable personality, so you kind of wish the best for him. I just liked Klein so far. Yeah. Hi Noes, by the way. The tarot cards, my beloved. There's nothing more evil there. Ombre ruminated over the suggestion Mr. Fool had offered, and after a while, said in surprise, "It sounds like it actually might work. It's a very simple but effective solution." She looked at Klein and sincerely marveled. "Mr. Fool, you must be an elderly person with an outstanding intelligence who is very experienced in life." The corners of Klein's mouth twitched a little as he looked at the hangman and Justice for a few silent seconds. "Let us end today's gathering here. If Miss Justice is able to influence her family and affect this change on this matter, I can guide Benson ahead of time and give him a chance to become a civil servant." On careful thought, Benson was indeed suitable for such a career. However, it is unlikely Justice would take the initiative to do it. This is because the hangman and I can easily find out which noble suggested it and basically guess her identity. Even though... What? Joshua, just wait. Ombre? Andre. Andre sounds weird though. Andre doesn't sound correct. Or Audrey, if it's gonna be old English. Andre. Ombre? Ong. Fuck off. That. Fine. Fuck you. Of course, she would do it secretly in a roundabout manner. By your will. Andre and Olga stood up together. Klein leaned back slightly and severed the connection. He saw Justice and Hangman's illusionary and blurry figures instantly shatter and dissipate. Above the grey fog, the opulent palace where God seemingly lived, he was the only one sitting, silently at the head of the bronze table. Klein did not plunge into the grey fog like the other time to leave. This is because his mind was still energetic, although becoming a beyonder. The reason he had entered the Tarot Card Club early was because he learned the true attitude of the Nighthawks had towards the Antigus notebook. He decided that he had to search into it seriously, and not sleep all the way. Doing so would make Dune Smith suspicious of his activities at home. Furthermore, he had benefited quite a lot this time. That is true. Andre and Olga. How about you fuck off with my pronunciation of things, okay? Or I start watching the anime. KO real fucking mad. Klein sat in his high-back chair at the head of the bronze table. His arm leaned against the armchair as he crossed his fingers while he observed the boundless grey fog carefully. He found the palace serene, as though no one had stepped into it for 10 million years. For 10 million years. When he established the connection to summon the Hangman and Justice, he acutely noticed something. The fact that as a Beyonder himself, he had the ability to touch the other dark red star. Does that mean he can summon one more? Klein recalled the feeling and muttered in confirmation. However, he did not have the urge to make an attempt, since he did not know what the identity of the newcomer would be or what sort of attitude they would have. After all, not everyone is like Justice or the Hangman, who had unique personalities that easily blended in and took whenever they needed. They seemed willing to conceal matters. If he pulled someone like Dune Smith, then the mysterious organization he had established would instantly come under the watch of the church. as an evil organization boss, his future would be worrying. Klein knew the Grey Fog was special. He knew it was not something that it was not something a Beyonder like Dune Smith's sequence could see through, but the problem was that since he had the powers of a Beyonder, he had to consider the existence of the gods. That does make me question how many people in this verse have actively become gods then. If he's this paranoid about it, then I don't think it'd be too crazy to think about it like that. You know? Can you stop trying to hide in my bag? Snowfall, get down. I'll put you in front of the camera. Snowfall! What are you doing? See this little fucker? See this? See this little fucking nightmare? It's your child. Your child's a nightmare. A fat ass nightmare. Do it, don't it. The dongle is quite good. There are gonna be special episodes coming out in like 2 days. Gibby. That's not how you spell my name. You missed the R, right? Yeah, you missed the R. All I know is that there's someone who can impregnate men, women, and things. That's actually kind of funny. That is legitimately comedy. Klein had chosen to carefully believe that the 7 orthodox gods existed in reality. Of course, he was more tenable to believe that these gods were even more powerful than the high sequence Beyonders. Furthermore, they were under strict limitations. At the very least, ever since the 5th epoch appeared apart from a few oracles, they had not appeared again. Forcefully pulling people here isn't a good thing. No one would wish to be pulled into a mystery for some baffling reason. Let's wait and see how things go in the future. Klein sighed and stood up. He released his spirituality and sensed his body's existence. Then he began imitating the heavy feeling of rapidly plunging down. The scene in front of him changed. The grey fog and the dark red instantly departed him. Klein felt like he was being torn through the endless water's embrace before ultimately seeing the real world. His room in darkness. This time, he was fully awake and seriously took in the entire experience. Strange. There are some differences between the grey fog and the spirit world. Klein moved his limbs and felt the existence of his body. He seriously fought through the experience. He shook his head, walked to the desk, and pulled open the curtains. The curtains were drawn as sunlight poured in, illuminating the room. As he looked at the street outside the Orel window and the prestigious going back and forth, Klein took a deep breath and muttered silently, Time to go out and work. How should I act as a seer? I can't be rushed. All I can do is use my spirit vision now. I wonder if that makes the Evernight goddess real then. Wait, so what kind of gods would that be then? It would be the god of knowledge and wisdom, the god of machinery, the Evernight goddess, the eternal sun. I wrote these down, didn't I? The eternal blazing sun, the LOS, and the god of knowledge and wisdom. Then there's the god of machinery, Mother Earth, and the god of combat. Oh, Lord of Seas. Or Lady of the Seas. I can't remember which one. Huh. What a weird selection of gods. What a weird selection. Huh. What was in the book that made Klein, Welch, and the other girl kill herself? What did the Antigus family know to make the Nighthawks kill him? Not a lady. Lord of the Seas then. Lord of Seas. Backlord Empress. The Backlord Empress roared. Ombre looked at herself in the mirror. She saw her cheeks flushed red with excitement in her eyes. So bright that they would have daunted anyone looking into them. She did not examine any of this, as she hurriedly recalled. She picked up the ruby-stunted fountain pen and wrote the formula of the Spectre potion on the exquisite goatskin parchment. 80 millimeters of pure water, 5 drops of awesome croissant essence, 13 grams of cow teeth petrol powder, 5 petals of elf flowers, a pair of matured manhole fish eyeballs, 35 milliliters of goat horn blackfish blood. Did I say a couple of those wrong? Yes, I did. Do I care? No. Whew. Ombre heaved a sigh of relief as she read through it a couple times to confirm that she had not made any mistakes. She had the urge to go dance again, but reminded herself to remain restrained. After some thought, she began writing various chemicals named around the potion formula. She then faked the pages into complicated and messy chemistry. Yes. As long as no one doesn't read it carefully, a person who flips through this randomly will discover the details I have hidden in here. Excellent. Ombre praised herself and turned her mind towards the exquisition of the materials. I'll first research the few vaults we have. I'll then attempt to exchange for the missing parts with others. If I still can't gather them all, I'll seek help from the Hanged Man or the Fool. What can I offer as payment? I don't know, maybe the fucking diary. After some thought, Ombre closed the notebook and placed it on a tiny bookshelf. Following that, she briskly walked through the door and pulled it open. The golden retriever was sitting obediently outside. The corner of Ombre's mouth curled as she revealed a radiant smile. Susie! You completed the mission perfectly. In the serialized stories in the newspaper, detectives would often have a capable assistant. I think there should be a huge dog supporting the real Spectre. In the underground basement, lit only by a flickering candle, Olga Wilson raised his palm and looked at it carefully. After a long while, he let out a heavy sigh. It's still that miraculous. I was unable to figure out any specific details at all. Despite having made sufficient preparations, he failed to understand how the Fool had completed the summoning. He moved his gaze down and looked up at the goatskin parchment in front of him. At the title head of the yellowish-brown parchment, there was a Hermes sentence written in dark blue ink. 7. Seafarer. Oh, is this the next sequence in his Beyonder abilities? The Club. Chapter 37? Look, I need your help. Yes, 37. You know what would help? If I actually wrote this shit down. If I click on plus, press text, number, there we go. Select font, bold finger. I know y'all can kind of see it, but, like, get off my dick, okay? Oh, that's a gradient. I don't want the gradient. I want this. How's the P like that? Why? Why is the P like that? Whoop. Nope. Seriously, no, why the fuck is the P like that? That's actually really annoying me. Oh well. There we go. That should be fine. Anyway, chapter 37. The Club. Chapter 37. The Club. Under the scorching afternoon sun, Klein left his house. Since he had walked all the way from Iron Cross Street to Welch's place, he wore a lined shirt instead of his normal attire of the top hat and leather boots. He wore a matching brown coat, a round felt hat, and a pair of old leather shoes. That way, he did not need to worry about the stench of his sweat would contaminate the rather expensive suit. As he went down Dandelion Street, he strolled towards the Iron Cross Street. When he passed the square around the corner, he subconsciously took a glance. The tenants had already vanished. The circus troupe from before had left after finishing their performance. Klein originally imagined the animal tamer who helped tell him his fortune to be a hidden expert. He believed she had purposely appeared to guide him from discovering something unique about him, and she had met him to provide hints of the future. However, none of that happened. She left for the next stop in the tour in the circus troupe. How could there be so many click troops? Klein shook his head while grimacing a smile. He turned towards the Iron Cross Street. Iron Cross Street was not characterized by just a single street. Just like the name suggested, it formed by two crossroads that circled into each other. With each intersection at its core, it was split into Left Street, Red Street, Upper Street, Lower Street. Klein, Benton, and Melissa previously lived on the Lower Street. However, the residents living at his former apartment and the surrounding area did not think of the area as Lower Street. Instead, they created the term Middle Street. By doing so, it made a clear difference between those staying there and the poor who lived 200 meters down the road. There, a bedroom was occupied by 5 to 6 people, and sometimes even up to 10. Fucking hell. Klein walked along the Klein walked across the periphery of Left Street as he let his mind wander. He recalled the Enticus family notebook and how it was missing. He thought of its importance to the Nighthawk and thought of the deaths that resulted from it. His heart slowly turned heavy as his face turned ashen. At that moment, a familiar voice sounded. "Lad." "Oh." Klein turned his head curiously and found himself in the Smeary bakery entrance. Mrs. Wendy, with a head of grey hair, was greeting him with waves and a warm smile. "You don't look very happy," Wendy asked generally. Klein rubbed his face and said, "A little." "Regardless of your worries, tomorrow will come," said Mrs. Wendy with a smile. "Here, try out my newly created sweet iced tea. I'm not sure if it suits the palate of my locals." "Locals? Aren't you one, Mrs. Siren?" Klein shook his head in amusement. "Trying out something means it's free, right?" Wendy Siren raised her chin a little and said, "You guessed right. I'm actually a southerner. I come to Tingham with my husband, but that was more than 40 years ago. Back then, Benson was not born yet. Even your parents not even your parents knew each other. I have always been a little unaccustomed to the dietary preferences of Northerners, and I'm always missing my hometown's food. I miss pork sausage, potato bread and roasted pancakes, vegetables fried in lard. Vegetables fried in lard and roasted meat with specialty sauce. Oh, I also miss sweet iced tea." Klein smothered a smile when he heard that. "Mr. Siren, this sure is a topic about me hungry. This topic sure makes me hungry. I would feel a lot better. But I'd feel a lot better. Thank you very much." What did I miss? No fucking idea. Don't even know when you left. Delicacies can always cure sorrow. Wendy handed him a cup of brownish red liquid. "This is sweet iced tea I made according to my memories. Try it and tell me if it's nice." After thanking her, Klein took a sip and found the resembling iced black tea from Earth. However, it was not as stimulating. The taste of tea was stronger and felt more refreshing, but instantly expelled the heat brought by the burning sun. "It's excellent," he marveled. "It puts me at ease. That puts me at ease." Wendy smiled and squinted eyes as she watched him finish the cup of tea in a general manner. After chatting with Mrs. Siren about his moving, Klein returned to the streets he was most familiar with. There were far fewer street-side hawkers in the afternoon. They gathered again about 5:30, and ones that stayed behind looked drowsy and listless. The moment he entered the area, Klein's heart suddenly felt overwhelmed by darkness. His heart felt heavy, down and gloomy, and an inescapable reason. What's happening? His sharp sense, he sharply sensed something wrong about himself. He immediately stopped and observed his surroundings, but he did not see anything strange. After some thought, Klein raised his hand and tapped his gabula like he was thinking. The extension of his vision immediately transformed. The auras of the hawkers and pedestrians all appeared. Before Klein could observe the colors of their health, his attention was pulled away by the colors that represented gloominess. He was unable to determine the exact thoughts of the observed, but the deposement, apathetic and gloomy impression, was deeply carved into his heart. So, basically, it feels like he's suffering from an accidental case of sympathy, no? Or empathy, or a severe case of empathy. I'm Captain. It feels so empty. Yeah, it's a dead chat today, but oh well. That's fine. As he surveyed the area, he realized that even the sun could not deprise those dark colors. It was a sense of gloomy that tinted them for years of repression. Upon seeing this, Klein instantly understood the reason. Just as Old Neil said, activating his spiritual vision easily pulled him into unfamiliar environments and made him feel discomfort. It was also easy for him to be affected by the emotions of others. So yeah, I'm right. It's an extreme case of empathy, just manufactured. Old Neil's a very sensitive person. Just not a lot of emotion today. Yeah, but that's fine. I get the music isn't helping either. Let's be honest now. So is Dune Leonard like everyone in Hawks? From what I understand, Dune is, but he's a slightly higher up Nighthawk because he's a Sequence 7 wielder, and Leonard probably just a little less than him because he's a Sequence 8, I believe it is. Missed my chance to give everyone scurvy. Ah! Shut the fuck up. A similar principle could be used on the ability like perception. This was an ability he obtained without additional practice after becoming a seer. It was a passive sense that could not be declined. It allowed him to directly sense the existence of anything abnormal. There was bound to be a level of interaction when perceiving things. Therefore, in the Beyonder's eyes of someone like a spirit medium, the intensity of everybody's perception was clearer. It was like a fire in the night. Therefore, people with high perceptivity were naturally affected by the intense atmosphere of everything abnormal. It was only by repeatedly practiced to grasp control and adapt to such outcomes. Such a repressed color is probably formed over extended periods of time, right? Klein sighed as he shook his head, feeling somewhat affected. He tapped his scapula twice again and tried hard to converge his spirituality. Scurvy is simply a state of mind. Amen. Simply just be Jack Sparrow. Have you ever thought of that? Simply be that fucking guy. And you might give scurvy to other people. This is fruitless behavior. Klein walked towards the apartment and tried to sense any abnormal existences or tiny connections, while also searching for the Antigus family notebook, which he had hidden. The streets were the same as usual. There was filthy water and trash on the street. It only cleared up when he had reached the apartment entrance. Klein pushed open the half-closed door and circled to the first floor. In the darkness, there was sunlight that could not reach. The wooden stairs creaked constantly as he went up them. The second floor was as dim as always. Klein released his perception and looked into the darkness. However, not only did he fail to discover any clues regarding his notebook, he even failed to see any invisible spiritual bodies. If it's so easy to encounter them, most ordinary people would not have already sensed the existence of extraordinary matters. Klein sighed in reflection. He already understood that most spirits did not exist in the form of spiritual bodies, but in the form of spirituality. Only a spirit medium could effectively communicate with them. After circling the third floor once, Klein left the apartment and reached his memory's footsteps towards Welch's place. He walked into a full harbor, but he did not discover anything along the way. Standing outside the guarded bungalow, Klein looked at the building through the locked iron gates and mumbled to himself. There's no need for me to search Welch's place, right? Captain and Madame Dale had done the carpet search of the place. Besides, I don't have the key. They can't exact me to climb the walls, right? I'll try another path tomorrow. I've walked so much today, there's no step counter rankings. What if I am just him? Are you just him, though? I don't believe you to be. Not true, I had an apple 10 minutes ago. He needs his vitamin Z. Cash. He needs his vitamin Z. Cash fucking money. Klein is not having any good luck finding that fuck ass family diary. That's dairy, but you know what? Whatever. Diary's been one of those words that has been forever impossible for me to spell. Because was like that for years, but now I can spell it naturally. It's fine. Diary? No, it just does not work. I always spell dairy. Every fucking time. And I'll never understand it. While lampooling, Klein returned to the nearby district. He planned on taking the public carriage to the Blackthorn Security Company to retrieve his daily allocation of 30 bullets. He needed to use his time and practice. Asia lack of quick and effective offensive means could only be made up by his revolver and cane. The district around Welch's place was relatively clean. Shops with clean and bright windows lined with two sides of the street. At the turn of the street, Klein was just about to seek out the carriage stop when his gaze swept past a few signboards on the second floor. Horrocks Department Store, Military Veterans Mess, Divination Club. Divination Club? Klein silently repeated the name and recalled that he had to act as a seer. Might just dip. That's fair. If that's the case, then see ya Saturday? Yeah, Saturday, because that's a chill day. Yes, I should take a look and seek out new ideas. Amidst his mixed thoughts, Klein went across the street and went onto the second floor. He entered the main foyer to see a beautiful female attendant. The woman with coiled brownish yellow hair sized up Klein before saying in a smile, "Sir, do you wish to have your fortune told, or do you wish to join our club?" What are the conditions for entry?" asked Klein casually. The woman explained with great familiarity. Fill in your particulars and pay an annual membership fee. The first year is £5 and subsequent years will be £1 a year. Don't worry, it's not like a political or business club which allow entries through recommendations or formal members. Members can freely use club's meeting rooms and various divination rooms and tools. They can enjoy the coffee and tea we provide and read the newspaper and magazines we subscribe for free. We can buy a lunch, dinner, alcoholic beverages at a cost price, as well as education materials and materials needed for divination. In addition, we invite at least one famous fortune teller to lecture every month to answer any questions. Most importantly, you can find a bunch of friends with the same hobbies and have an exchange with them. Honestly, not that bad of a club. That doesn't sound that bad. Alright. Later, random. Also, should I drink the kind of sprays I've been balancing on my head since the start of the stream? No, keep it balanced. Just keep it there. You need to focus on that can, brother. It sounds pretty good, but I don't have the money. Klein gave a self-deprecating smile before asking, "Then what if I want my fortune told?" Novice hobbyist. Seems like Klein's gonna get red. Chapter 38. We're back onto the story being boring as fuck. I genuinely forgot it was there. That's impressive. Novice hobbyist. Upon hearing Klein's question, the beautiful lady with elegant tied-up brownish-yellow hair appeared to lose her patience. However, she maintained her smile and said, Our members are free to do divinations for others in the club. They also have their prices, and we take a tiny cut of the fee. If you wish to have your fortune told, you can take a look at this album, if the instructions and rates of the members who are willing to do divinations for others. However, it's Monday afternoon, so most of our members are busy at work. We only have 5 here today. That's still more than enough, goddamn. And Josh relaxes, yeah. As she introduced the club, she invited Klein to have a seat on the sofa beside the window in the reception hall. Then she flipped through the album and pointed at the present members. Hassan Vincent, the famous singing fortune teller, the club's resident manager. Good at various forms of divination, he charges 4 soil each time. No need. Not your own kids. It's really expensive. That's enough to feed Benson. Benson, Melissa, and me for 2 subsequent dinners. Klein clicked his tongue silently and did not reply. When the woman saw this, she continued to flip through the page, introducing 1 members. And the final one, Glacius, a member who joined the club this year. He is skilled at tarot divination. He charges 2 pence each time. Sir, who do you plan on choosing? Klein did not stand on ceremony and answered, Mr. Glacius. Just the fucking, Oh no, I've forgotten the word for it. I've forgotten the word for the 3 dots. Bollocks. Indications? Indications? Something like that? Anyway, the fucking little pause there. So funny. I love that. The female attendant fell silent for 2 seconds before saying, Sir, I have to remind you that Mr. Glacius was only considered a novice. I understand. I'll be responsible for my own decisions. Klein nodded in a smile. Then please follow me. The woman stood up and led Klein through the door beside the reception hall. It was not a very long hall, and an open meeting room situated at the end. There was enough sunlight, and it was equipped with tables and chairs. There were newspapers, magazines, and paper cards. A faint coffee aroma drifted out. About two rooms from the meeting hall, an attendant gestured for Klein to stop. She sped up her pace and entered the room. She shouted gently, Mr. Glacius, oh my god, Glacius, someone wishes for your divination. Me? A voice filled with surprise and doubt immediately sounded. Following that, there was a sound of a moving chair. Yes, which divination room would you like to use? Replied the lady without any emotion. The Topaz room. I like the Topaz. Is it Tapas? Tapas room? I like the Tapas. How do you pronounce that? Whatever. Glacius appeared by the meeting room door and looked curiously at Klein, who was waiting not far away. He was a man in his 30s. His skin was slightly dark, and his pupils were a dark green shade. Under his light, a yellow and soft hair, and was dressed in a white shirt and black vest. A monocle hung from his chest, and he seemed to have a good disposition. The attendant did not say anything further as she opened the door to the Topaz room, which was next to the meeting room. The curtains inside were tightly shut, making it dim. It appeared that only doing so would gain one revelations from the gods and the spirits to obtain an accurate divination outcome. Give me a minute. So, the kittens have learned to escape. That's not fun. I kind of just threw them back in the cage. Or the little outward hut thing. It's fucking weird, okay? I've got them living in a weird situation. Hello there, I'm Glias. I never expected you to choose me for your divination. Glias gave a gentleman's bow, briskly stepped into the room, and sat behind the long table. Frankly, I'm only attempting divinations for others. I do not have much experience. For now, I'm not a good fortune teller. You still have a chance for regret. As Klein returned the bow, he entered into the room and closed the door behind him. By the light seeping through the curtains, he said with a smile, "You're a really honest man, but I'm someone who is very firm on his choices. Please, have a seat." Glias pointed at the seat in front of him and thought for a few seconds. Divination is my hobby. In life, one often receives guidance from divinations, but the ordinary person is unable to accurately understand the meaning. This is the reason why divination exists, and why I joined this club. In this aspect, I lack the confidence. I make the divinations that follow an exchange, a free exchange. Do you like my suggestion? I can cover the fees for the club requires. It's just a quarter pence. Oh no, they'll soon conquer the world and no one is safe. Oh god. They'll conquer. They'll conquer everything. But tomorrow is going to be an interesting day for the kittens. Because all of them are going to be in the same pen. They're all going to be meeting. You're going to be meeting your technical aunts and uncles. Because Ria's Ophi's kid. And you're Ria's kid. And all of Ophi's kids are Ria's siblings. Not true siblings, but you know. Get the gist. Klein did not agree nor shake his head. Instead, he smiled. From the looks of it, you have a pretty well-paying and decent job. While he said so, he leaned his body forward slightly. He held his forehead in his right fist and tapped it twice. That does not enhance the accuracy of my divination, answered Glacius humorously. Does your head hurt? Do you want divine problems regarding health? A little. I wish to divine where an item is. Klein had already thought of an excuse as he slowly leaned back. In his eyes, Glacius's aura clearly presented itself. The orange colors in his lungs were dark and sparse. They even influenced the brightness of other auras. This is not the symptoms of exhaustion. Klein nodded in an indescribable manner. Are you searching for a lost item? Glacius thought for a few seconds before saying, Then let's do a simple determination. He pushed the neatly stacked tarot cards onto the table towards Klein. Calm down. Think of that item, and think of the item you asked. Think of the item and ask yourself, can it still be found? While doing so, shuffle and cut the deck. Is this copyrighted? No. I do not believe this is copyrighted. Let's try this one. I also believe this one is also not copyrighted. Blood Bowl music is though. That's Sony, and I don't trust those fuckers as far as I can throw a goddamn ball, and that's very, very goddamn far. Calm down. Think of the item and ask yourself, can it still be found? While doing so, shuffle and cut the deck. Alright. Klein did not remember what the ancient notebook looked like. All he could do was repeat the question to himself. Can the Antigus family notebook still be found? While he repeated the thought, he skillfully shuffled and cut the deck. Glacius picked the topmost card and pushed it in front of Klein. The card was facing down horizontally. Turn it clockwise until it sits vertical, then flip it open. If the card is inverted, it means if it's inverted, it means the picture on the card is facing away from you. That indicates the item cannot be found. If the card is upright, we can continue the divination and seek the actual location. Klein followed his instructions and turned the horizontal card vertical. He clasped at the end of the card and flipped it over. It was an inverted card. What a pity. Glacius sighed. I can't believe he's actually going through with this, by the way. I get there's... Klein did not respond because his attitude was focused on a tarot card in front of him. The inverted card picture was dressed in gorgeous clothes and a splendid headdress. The Fool. It's the Fool again. This can't be coincidental, right? According to the Handman and O'Neill, divination is the outcome of the communication of spirituality and the spiritual world with the higher dimensional me. Tarot cards are only a conversion tool to read what it truly symbolizes. In theory, any divination item, it doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't affect the outcome. Klein frowned as he thought for a moment. It can be diverted whenever the item is already in the hands of others. Of course, it follows the same process and do it again. Glacius nodded with rich interest. Klein shuffled and cut the deck while thinking of his question. He drew a card and placed it horizontally before turning it vertically clockwise. He finished all of the preparations with a serious expression. Taking a deep breath, Klein reached out his hand and flipped over the tarot card. Please do not be fool again. While praying, he suddenly realized because of that card, the star, it was inverted. How the fuck have you done that? How the fuck? How did you get yourself in the cage? That cage door was closed, by the way. I want to point that out. That door was closed. How the fuck did you get in it? You can't open. Whatever. I'll ask questions later. That is not my stance right now. Okay. Something happened. And we're back. That scared me. Yep. Yep. We're back. Well, from the looks of it, the item has not been taken by others yet. Oh, so it's still lost. Born to roam. Fuckers love exploring. Klein nodded and raised his right hand. He tapped his scapula, looking as though he was in deep in thought. Then he took out 2 pennies with the dark copper luster from his pocket and pushed it towards Gaius. Didn't I say it was free? Gaius said in a frown. Klein laughed as he got up. This is the respect divination deserves. Alright, thank you for your generosity. Gaius stood up and reached his hand out. After shaking his hand, Klein took 2 steps back and turned around. He walked to the door and twisted the doorknob. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly turned his head and made a tense sound. Mr. Gaius, I suggest you see a doctor as soon as possible. Focus on your lungs. Why? Asked Glacius in surprise. Are you cursing me because you wasn't pleased with the divination results? Klein thought for a moment and said, it's a symptom based on the color of your face. Well, new. The gabula seems dark. Gabula seems dark? This is the first time Gaius had heard such a description. Klein did not explain further as he walked out the room with a smile. He closed the wooden door behind him. Is he an unlicensed doctor or herbalist? Gaius shook his head. Amused, he picked up his monocle for divination. On a careful look, he looked at his scapula, and it was indeed dark. But this was the particular problem with the environment. In the darkness, due to the closed curtains, not only was his scapula dark, his whole face was shrouded in darkness. It's not a very likable joke, Gaius muttered. He worriedly divided his own health to make sure everything was alright. Honestly, kind of a funny way to tell a man he has lung problems. I can hear that they've gotten out again. I can hear it. Yep, what's up? Fuckers. How are you doing that? Sorry. Mother. Kids were able to get out. Oh my god. Speaking of fucking born in Rome, the others have fucking learned to get out, and I have no way to stop them! After leaving the divination club, Klein had an additional plan for the future. It was to save as much money as possible to pay the annual fee to become a member for the club, of which he began acting as a seer. As for why he did not choose to do it independently, it was because he had temporarily lacked the resources and channels. He could not bring himself to stand on the streets as a hawker since he cared about his reputation. A few minutes later, the public carriage arrived. He had spent 2 pence to reach the Zoutland street, which was not very far off. He pushed... The kittens? Oh, they did it. I mean, I can... Well, you gotta close the door then because of Helios. I'm gonna swap the big ball when I shovel all 8 of them. Yes, all 8 of them. The big fuck off box. Fuck's sake. I can't wait until he finds out about the demoness. Sounds like a lovely character. Who's your favorite character so far? Probably Ben. It's either Ben or Ombre, because they're both very energetic, very, like, I want to be involved characters. He pushed open the door to the platform security company, but he did not see the familiar brown-haired girl. He only saw the black-haired, green-eyed, Leonard Mitchell with his poetic bearing behind the reception counter. Good afternoon. Where's Roseanne? Klein asked after taking off his hat and bowing. Klein smiled and pointed at the Patreon. It's her shift tonight at the armory. While waiting for Klein to ask another question, Leonard said as he thought, and he was pondering over the matter. Klein, I have a question that has always puzzled me. What is it? Klein wore a blank look. Leonard stood up and smilingly said in a relaxed tone, Why did Welch and Naya commit suicide on the spot while you returned home? Huh, actually, that's a good point, actually. It's likely to do with how the unknown existence made the Antinous family book always a way to hide it. It likely has to do with how the unknown existence made me take the Antinous family notebook away to hide it, answered Klein with a official smear. Leonard paced around before turning to look straight into Klein's eyes. If your suicide was meant to silence you and wipe away any clues, why weren't you made to destroy the notebook there and then? Probably because whatever's hiding in the book wants to stay alive? I mean, if I had to take any guess, it's probably because the book didn't want to be destroyed, but he didn't want anybody of lower prowess finding it. Oh, wait, no, that's a good point. If the book holds such forbidden knowledge that when people start to understand it, it drives people to suicide so that information can never get out, why not destroy the book itself, unless something is hiding within the book? Is there a god hiding in the fucking book? That's, interesting trick. In fact, I did not know if the notebook is destroyed or hidden. But by using backwards reasoning, if it was destroyed, it would have been done on the spot. If there was no need for me to take it away and carry out the destruction. Upon hearing Leonard's question, Klein instantly went into the keyboard detective mode and said with a sigh, perhaps when Welch and Naya and I made contact with the unknown existence, it enjoyed the sacrifice of life and wished for a similar situation to continue. With the suicide definitely easily discoverable, I was made to take away the notebook and hide it so we would prepare for the existing second round of entertainment. However, some mishap happened during the process and I failed to succeed in my suicide. This was the reason Klein guessed for his consumption of novels. This was the guess Klein had made from his consumption of novels, movies, and TV dramas which involved cult sacrifices. As for the mishap that happened midway, he knew very well that that was due to the unexpected variable of him being a transmigrator. Quite a good explanation. But I believe there might be other possibilities. Welch and Naya's suicide sacrifice might have made it possible for the unknown existence to descend on this world. Then, that notebook is a vessel or a breeding ground of evil. It made you take it away to hide it, worried that we would destroy it if we had discovered its birth, before it became strong. Leonard Mitchell suggested another possibility. Having said that, he stared into Klein's eyes and smiled slightly. I mean, that is certainly a guess. Of course, perhaps the notebook had been destroyed. The goal is to hide its contents and seal the vessel or the brooding of evil. That way, there is a sufficient reason for your failed suicide. What does he mean? Is he suspecting me? Is he suspecting that the original client's body is the vessel or used for the brooding of evil? No. Why is he being a vessel for a transmigrator? Actually, brooding isn't the correct term. Klein was taken aback, while he secretly criticized the idea the weight of he weighed his words. I'm not trying to defend myself since I've lost my memories of that period, but the captain and Madame Dyler have already confirmed that I'm fine. Your joke isn't funny. I'm only considering the possibilities. It does not eliminate the blow. Doesn't eliminate the blow of the unknown existence encountered when it descended, which caused your suicide to fail. I believe that the goddess will ultimately bless us. Leonard laughed when he changed the subject. Did you discover anything in the afternoon? After the conversation and the previous encounters, Klein was very wary of Leonard. He answered in a composed manner. No. I plan on trying a different route tomorrow afternoon. He pointed at the petition and said, I need to head to the armory to draw the bullets. The shooting club opened at 9 at night. What fucking shooting club opens at 9 at night? Do you know how loud bullets are? Even from a revolver, they're still loud as shit. Whatever. Criticisms aside. Its availability increased, only after many of its members got off work. May the goddess bless you. Leonard smiled as he gestured the sign of the crimson moon on his chest. He watched Klein pass through the petition and listened to his footsteps down the stairs. Leonard's smile gradually vanished as a look of doubt appeared in his green eyes. I mean, fucking fair. He whispered something with a displeasured tone. I get where Leonard's coming from with this kind of suspicion, but I think his reasoning is off. I think his reasoning's only off because of how Klein actually is. But we also know how Klein is. We know what he's thinking. We know how he's gesturing himself. We know that this is like a legitimate mystery to him. But what about to the original Klein? We don't know. So I guess its reasoning's not too far off knowing what he knows, but still. The far reach to say, at the very least. Down the stairs, Klein followed the gas lamp illuminated corridor to the armory and archives. The iron door was open and the bronze-haired girl, Roseanne, was standing in front of the table. She was chatting with the top hat wearing middle-aged man with a thick black beard. Good afternoon. No, good evening. It's always right there. It's always night here. Klein, I heard from O'Neill that you've become a Beyonder. It's called a seer? Roseanne turned her head and indulged him with her questions. She did not hide her curiosity and concern. Get off your fucking child. It is not hard to lay on them. It is not hard to not lay on them, even. You still chose to become a Beyonder after all? Oh, good afternoon, Miss Roseanne. It's indeed always night here, but it makes one feel a sense of sincerity. The description you gave wasn't accurate enough. It should be said that the sequence potion I consumed has the name Seer. You still chose to become a Beyonder after all, Roseanne said with a sigh as she fell deep in thought. Klein looked at the middle-aged man beside her and asked politely, You are? Another Nighthawk member or one of the 2 civilian staff members I've not met? Roseanne puckered her lips and said, Brennett, our colleague, he wished to change slots with me to free up the night after tomorrow. He plans on going to the theater in the North Broad with his wife to watch the Prideful One. It's a celebration of his 15th year wedding anniversary. He's truly a romantic gentleman. Honestly, based. Love that for him. What a good husband. Brent smiled as he extended his hand and said, "With Miss Roseanne around, there's nothing that requires repeating. Hello, Klein. I never expected you to become a Beyonder so quickly. As for me, I might never have the courage. Perhaps it's as the saying goes, the ignorant know no fear," Klein said in a self-deprecating manner as he extended his hand to shake Brennett. "Me not having courage is not something bad," as Brennett said, with a shake in his head. A Beyonder once told me before his death to never probe strange and dangerous matters. The less you know, the longer you live. That is a scarily accurate comment to everyday life nowadays, isn't it? Fuck. At that moment, Rosanna interjected. "Klein, there's no need to mind it. I heard from O'Neill that as a seer, you are used as a support. It is relatively safe as long as you do not attempt to communicate with the unknown existence. Why are you dressed in such clothes? It is so unbecoming of a gentleman. What are you here for?" I'm here to draw my 30 bullets. Klein did not reply to Roseanne's first question. He believed that the lady would quickly forget the matter. "Alright." Roseanne pointed at the table and said, "Brent, it's all yours. You should know where the keys and the bullets are." "Oh, O'Neill really is petty. He did not even leave his ground coffee behind. He promised me that I could drink my fill today." Bitch, don't offer people coffee and not leave it there. Rat bastard. I have this fucking tattoo for a reason. She prelated on as Klein received the bullets. The duo left together and went their separate ways as Southland Street. One took the public carriage home while the other walked into the shooting club. Bang! 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 Klein repeated the process, gripping the gun, raising his arms, shooting, releasing the cylinders, ejecting the empty shells, and shuffling the rounds. Again and again. He became familiar with the process and built it into his muscle memory. Of course, he had a few breaks in between to review the process, to review and correct the process. After finishing his practice, Klein used the grounds to do various exercises, like push-ups. He worked hard to train his body to improve his physique. I don't know why the idea of Klein exercising is just weirdly funny. Once everything was over, he sat at the untracked carriage home. He took the untracked carriage home. Only then did he realize that it was nearing 7 and the sky was already dark. Just as Klein was planning to head to the market to buy some ingredients for dinner, the door opened. Melissa had returned with her stationery filled bag. Apart from that, she carried quite a lot of groceries. "I thought you and Benson would be home rather late this morning, so I took one soil from the place where you stash your money." Upon seeing her brother's questioning look, Melissa explained her usual serious matter. Since you took the money, why didn't you take the public transport carriage to school? Klein had been reminded on the matter in the morning. Melissa said with a frown, "Why should I take a public carriage? It costs like 4 pence to go to school." A return trip means 8 pence. Counting Benson and you, I was spending nearly 24 pence on a transport daily. That's a whole 2 soil in a week. Yes, without counting Sundays, that's still 12 soil. That's equal to like our rent. She's a maths girl. Stop. Don't flaunt your mathematic prowess. Klein lowered his palm in an amused manner. Melissa first stopped before adding, It's pretty good walking to school. Our teacher said that everyone should exercise frequently, but besides, I should pick up some damaged components on the way. Klein chuckled and said, then let's do the maths again. The public carriage costs 12 soil. The rent is 12 soil and 3 pence. That, it's a total of £1 and 4 soil and 3 pence. Using Benson's salary is enough to pay for it, and there would still be quite a bit of change left. Yes, you received last week's salary. As for me, I can still earn up to £1 10 soil every week. Even if we eat a meal every day while counting expenses like gas, coal, wood, and condiments, we should still have some left if we are frugal with lunch. We can even subscribe to the morning paper for just 1 penny. In 2 months, when I'm made up for the advance payment, I can save money for both you and Benson. We can have new clothes. But we have to think about the possible accidents. Melissa stayed firm on her point. Klein smiled at her and said, then we can eat less meat. Don't you find spending 100 minutes on the road a waste of time? When you can use that time to read more or think over problems and improve your results? That way, Melissa, you can graduate with excellent grades and you'll still be able to find a job with a pretty good salary. Then that happens, then there is to worry about. God, I hate the way these characters speak. So fucking much. He displayed his experience gained from debating people on message boards and finally convinced Melissa. She agreed to take the public carriage to school. Phew. I finally sucked her into doing it. Now I can finally call it suckering. This is called convincing. Klein lampooned before taking over the groceries that Melissa had brought. He said with a sigh, remember to buy beef or meat like mutton and chicken. Eat until you're full and enjoy yourself. Only then will you be equipped with a healthy body and a clever mind to match the demanding requirements needed for your studies. Just mentioning it makes me salivate. Melissa puckered her lips after a few seconds of silence and said, "All right." The next morning, after ensuring that Melissa took the public transport carriage, Klein and Benson separated and went their respective companies. The moment Klein stepped into the door, he saw old Neil and Roseanne chatting by the reception desk. The former was still in his classic black robe without any concern for the gaze of others. The latter had changed into a casual cream-colored dress. "Good morning, Mr. Neil. Miss Roseanne," greeted Klein as he took off his hat. O'Neill gave him a mischievous look. "Good morning. You did not hear anything that you should have heard last night, right?" No, I slept very well." Klein was still puzzled over that. He could only put down his inadequate perception. Don't mind that. Actually, it's not that easily heard. O'Neill pointed to the petition and said, "Go to the armory. We'll continue our mysticism lessons this morning." Klein nodded and followed Neil downstairs and arrived at the armory to replace Bent, who had been on duty the entire night. What will we learn today?" asked Klein curiously. O'Neill dragged out his response and said, "The complicated and basic knowledge. But before that, let me teach you an interesting trick." He pointed at the silver chain on his wrist. There is a pure moonstone hanging on the chain. And just like I said, today was a short stream. You know, not that bad. Oh, didn't learn all that much. Actually, we learned a fair bit. We learned about a new character, pirate dude, We learned about Ombre probably going to be silently influencing the government via her family's expenses. Really taking up the, like, the background role that she was all but destined to take up. And that's pretty much it. We didn't really learn anything that much from Benson or Melissa. We learned that Leonard is smarter than everybody looks. Surprisingly got through those chapters really quick. Well, here's the fun part. Because I cannot see... Oh, yeah, I can. It's a very small dot. It's, 2 hour stream. 2 hour stream. It's only 5 hours. Nope, 5 chapters. I'll get my numbers right eventually. But yeah. Nice little interaction with the medium. Or I guess tarot card reader. Including helping him out. Got introduced to a new civilian working at the security company. Learned that being a seer automatically makes you like an empath to an extent, which is actually quite funny. But I guess that makes sense knowing how the ether side of the spiritual medium works. And yeah, no, quick stream, not that bad. I'm probably going to play a little bit more of Blasphemous after this. Actually, I'm going to make my review, because it's been about 20 chapters since I've made one. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, thanks for sticking around. Bye-bye, I guess. See you Saturday. I found out that David chased away. The wiki got updated first. What? What does that mean? You know what? I won't ask too many questions. I'll just be like, yes. That is, I guess, good information to hear. Anyway. Whatever. Bye.